Hey everyone, welcome to Ultimate Awesomeness Podcast. It's just me, Steven here. Sadly, my co-host disappeared on me for some odd reason. I really don't know what's going on, but I haven't got any messages from them for 2 weeks already, and I couldn't wait any longer. It's kind of disappointing because I was looking forward to talk about Infinity War, and that didn't happen. So I guess I'm gonna have to look for new co-hosts eventually, and I didn't want to disappoint the viewers and never talk about Infinity War, so I decided to give it a chance and talk to myself about it, and meaning talking to you guys about it too. So we'll see how this goes and see if we can actually do this. Never did a podcast alone before, and I'm gonna try to do it this time around. So hope you guys understand and probably like it. So I'm gonna be talking about some comic book news, and then I will talk about Infinity War, and then I'll talk about the comic books I've read this week, and I'll also talk about my upcoming pull list for the next week. That's about it in general. So let's just start what we got here. The first news I'm going to talk about is Cable and Deadpool. They're going to have an annual sometime in August. August 15th, they're going to actually have an annual, which is kind of weird because there is no Cable and Deadpool series, and just to release an annual without the actual series seems kind of weird to me. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before. I guess I could look forward to this. It's written by David F. Walker, art by Paco Diaz, and the cover is by Chris Stevens. I really do like David Walker as a writer. He's been writing pretty good series like Power Man, Iron Fist, and Cyborg. I really like those. And it looks like the synopsis is when Deadpool is hired to track a woman through time, he assumes it's your standard run-off-the-mill rescue mission. But time-hopping villains are no joke, and nothing's ever simple with the work of a mouth is involved. Enter Cable, and the only chance Deadpool has of completing his mission without destroying the mainstream or the entire Marvel universe. It looks interesting. It's kind of like the last series that was made from the Infinite Comics line that was made for Marvel Digital Comics. Deadpool does travel back in time. Well, he travels forward in time and tries to solve an issue that he kind of messed up in with Cable. I think that was the gist of it. I don't remember it completely, but this looks interesting, I guess. I hope it will actually be good, so I guess you guys can look forward to that. The next news is there's more comic books for the Hunt for Wolverine, which is gonna get a little oversaturated with Wolverine once again. Ugh. I really hate that, and I'm having hesitations of whether to consider picking up all the Hunt for Wolverines, because for this many titles just for a character to just come back alive, it's really a little too much. I don't know why they're doing this. I guess Wolverine's a big money maker. He's a selling point, so let's just milk the hell out of him once again. I really don't like that, but hey, Marvel's gonna do what they want to do, and money makes the business go around. There's not much known. For these the Hunt for Wolverine titles, they call the Dead Ends. This will be a mini-series focusing on Wolverine's history. Like, we didn't know enough about Wolverine's history, jeez. But hey, it's gonna happen again. So yeah, we're gonna get more titles explaining Wolverine coming back alive, and everybody in the whole entire world has to interact with him when it's not really needed, but hey, it's gonna happen. So there's more titles to look forward to in August. Not really looking forward to that. I'll see if the first particular titles that's been coming out this month are gonna be good, but if not, I won't be picking it up. So next one is I'm gonna talk about the two TV shows that have recently been canceled, and one of them is Lucifer. I just found out from Newsarama. It's kind of disappointing. Lucifer got canceled after 3 seasons, and I really love this show a lot. Honestly, I might be in the minority of this, but I think the Lucifer TV series is actually better than the comic books. I'm talking about the classic old, Lucifer comic books that came out by Michael Carey, and I've been reading those, and I'm up to book number 5, and I'm still not liking it. So I don't know. I'm not really into the hype of Lucifer, the original one. I don't like it necessarily, and my particular reasons why I don't like it is because none of the stories about Lucifer. It's about characters that are in the world of Lucifer, and that makes no sense when your title of the character is called Lucifer. You might as well just call it something else if you're going to talk about characters that's not even, they're barely interacting with Lucifer. Lucifer is mostly in the background, or he will just come in 3 or 4 issues and he'll do his little, I guess, hoo-ha and just never appear again until like 20 issues. That's how bad it is. And the reason why I like the TV show is because you actually get to know who Lucifer is. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it actually makes sense too. And it's just the human aspect of all these characters are actually shining. And it turned out to be a really great show. I noticed a lot of people at Fox did like it, had good ratings. And for some reason, Fox canceled it. And I've read that it canceled it just because Fox has a stupid deal with the NFL. With the NFL for 30 hours. Jesus Christ. But yeah, for 30 hours of just NFL football. And I don't know how that's gonna work, especially when Disney buys. The takeover of Disney and Fox is officially done, which will be like around December 2019. So yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna work. Kind of 2 episodes behind because I watched them on Hulu. I still need to catch up on it, so I'll get on that maybe tomorrow or someday. I don't know when I actually find time. It's kind of disappointing that Lucifer is going to end, and they said it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and that is absolutely disappointing too. I was really looking forward to this show to have another season, and we're not going to get that. That's kind of disappointing. Another thing is, it's also been trending in Twitter with the hashtag Save Lucifer for fans trying to save the show, and surprisingly some celebrities are, trying to want to save this show too, like William Shatner, as I've read so far, which is pretty interesting. Maybe this will work, but I really doubt it because shows barely come back from demand. The only show that I saw that came back recently was Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they only came back because Universal actually owns that series. It's a licensed series from Fox, for Fox. So Fox was just holding it because NBC at the time didn't have any more slots for that show, so they put it on Fox just to have it there. And now that Fox canceled it, I guess NBC had a way to pick it up. And the only thing that could pick this up maybe is CW, because CW is owned by WB and partially CBS, but it could probably be on CW like they did with Supergirl. Or They might be some licensing constraints with Fox, who knows? Or they hopefully will put it on DC streaming service. I would like that too. And I honestly think that this show is like a CW show. It does have the heavy relationship drama. It's very soap opera, but it just has some supernatural elements. I really like that. It's actually a pretty good show to me. I just hope there'll be another chance for it. I don't know. It's kind of very disappointing. Okay, the next show that got canceled this week is Inhumans. It only got canceled after one season. It was according to Deadline that ABC decided to cancel it. I'm kind of disappointed about this because I was actually liking the Inhumans series. I had a different opinion than everybody else in the internet world. I pretty much know about the Inhumans a lot. I've been reading their comic book series, and the characters were exactly like the comic books. They weren't that different. I really don't understand what people are coming from. They actually did follow the characterization of each character. It looked like Maximus, yes, he was somewhat different, but it looked like he was going to turn into the character that we all know. It looked like they were setting up for that because he had a big ego, which is what he has in the comic books too. They just give him a reason why he would develop to one point to another. And I kind of did like that because it kind of just show why he is the way that he is, and he isn't just a one-dimensional, I want to do bad shit kind of crazy villain, which is what he usually is in the comic books. And comic books is often like that a lot because they're used to old nostalgic writing where a lot of villains were one-dimensional. And it seems TV shows and movies actually bring that idea a little bit much better. I mean, they have given personalities to characters over the years, but I feel like TV shows and movies actually bring a better example of what humans are to these characters. And the one I did like the most was Carniac. He really had an actual flaw. And I liked that because he made snap judgments and he was learning to actually become human. And in Inhumans, the comic books, he doesn't learn that at all. He's still a jerk face and he still makes assumptions about people and he's okay with that. And that is kind of a problem with that character in the comic books. I necessarily don't like that. And I kind of like they rated him a bit better in the TV show. And I know the budget was okay. It wasn't terrible what everybody's thinking. I really don't understand it. It was just, how usual budget was for television. It wasn't that bad. It was like a CW show. And that is what the budget is at for TV. It's not going to be movie level because that's too expensive. There's a difference why we have TV shows and movies. So the budget's never going to be the same. They will eventually, technology become cheaper over the years, but movies will always have a higher budget than TV. That's just how it is. For one thing, I actually think that this show was better than Gifted. Because the problem with Gifted was that the drama was all over the place. It was very drama heavy. And this show, Inhumans, was a little bit balanced, at least. I think a lot of people had a misunderstanding of the characters in Inhumans. They live in a different society. They live in a society where there's a caste system, and when you grow up in a caste system, it's a little bit different than what you're growing up in now. So that's what they were trying to explain here, and they did a pretty good job on that. They eventually learned how to be humans. They were basically inhuman, which that was a great way to explain that. I think they did a good job. I disagree with most people on the internet. I think most people don't even know who Inhumans are, so I can't necessarily agree with the general population. And humans have a very small fan base, and I guess it's kind of hard to actually start believing every single person on the internet about Inhumans. I don't think they actually necessarily know the characters. Sorry to say. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I wish ABC took the risk to give it a chance because it seems like some people were actually still were liking the show too, though. And I did see comments on YouTube where like they had Inhuman reviews, and some people were actually liking the show, and they said it was getting better as the episodes were developing. And sadly, the ratings did not improve because people listen to other people on the internet, which gets a little annoying, but it happens. Instead of actually watching the episodes and see that it actually gets better. Whatever. But yeah, I honestly thought that this was a good show. I wish it gave it another chance, but it looks like it won't happen. And I don't know what's gonna happen to these characters because Inhumans are not that popular, and I don't know if we're gonna see them again. Maybe they do a movie, or maybe I'm just hoping they'll do a crossover with Agents of Shield. That would be a great idea. If Agents of Shield gets another season, hopefully, and they'll do a crossover with Inhumans and develop the characters even more, and that would be a great thing. And maybe it'll give it another chance. Who knows? It's just ABC is very strict with their things, and I think that's why Disney's making their own streaming service. Who probably fuck them over. I don't know. I really don't know the basis of that, but I'm just thinking that that's what it probably is, because they did have a little argument about renewing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last year. And that was pretty interesting, I guess. And now I'm going to talk about the next two comic news, which is Young Animal, DC's Young Animal. It's pretty much coming to an end in August. So they're going to pretty much end Shade the Changing Woman, Cave Carson has an interstellar eye, Mother Panic, Gotham AD, and Eternity Girl. They only gonna leave Doom Patrol for some odd reason, and I'm surprised that's gonna stay because that title's been delayed, and usually when titles get delayed, they stop selling. So I'm surprised that that's even still going on. I love that series. I'm just surprised that it would still go on and not the other series. And I think the reason why these cancellations happened with Young Animal, because maybe they weren't selling so well. And it's kind of sad. I was really enjoying all the series. I did enjoy Mother Panic until Gotham AD, but Gotham AD was actually picking up pretty well. It was a great jump on point for the character. It was well developed, even much better, and it had its own like universe kind of thing because she was in the future, and I liked that. But all these series were pretty much great. It had a great imprint. I understand why it got canceled, but I just wish it didn't. They were all great series, and it's kind of sad to see it go. So they're all gonna have 6 issues. So the end points will be issue 6. So they all be miniseries, and the only one that'll be running is Doom Patrol. They said this is not the end of the line. It'll probably come back with more titles, but so far these titles are gonna be it for August. And that's really disappointing. I enjoyed each one of them. And I'm gonna talk about another series that got canceled this week as well. It's Batwoman from DC Comics. Yeah, it's getting canceled in August. I found out from Bleeding Cool. They found out on the Amazon listing reads that after her deadly trip around the world hunting the infamous Many Arms of Death, Batwoman returns to Bristles, the site of her most brutal losses and memories. As clock begins to tick on a new cycle of violence, Kate must overcome her haunted past to ensure her terrorist foes don't begin in the new year with a bang. And it's only collecting issues 12 to 18. This is from the volume 3 apparently. It's from the trade paperbacks. And it does say it's a stunning conclusion to the series that ends a chapter of Batwoman's history. So yeah, it's pretty much cancelled, and I'm kind of disappointed at that. I've liked what Margaret Bennett has done with the series. I think she's done a pretty good job. I know it's not as good as the first Batwoman series with J.H. Williams. I actually like that series a bit more, but this one was pretty good. I liked it. It had a good story arc with some new character called Saya. It was one of Batwoman's previous girlfriends, and it was pretty interesting. I liked the dynamic with, what is it, Penny. It was Alfred's daughter. I'll just say that for now, because my brain is not really working for me right now. Oh, it's Julia Pennyworth. You see, it gets there. Yeah, Julie Pennyworth. It was pretty cool, and I liked her name was called Tuxedo One, which I guess is kind of a bit of an off-play to Tuxedo Mask. That was also, I guess there's probably a nod there. Who knows? I really don't know. But it was interesting, and I didn't read the most recent issues. Has been, I guess, coming out. I'm 2 weeks behind the comic books as of late. But the most recent story arc was with her, and it was with Batwoman and Alice. And it's great to see Alice again. I really enjoy her character in the previous Batwoman run, and I want to see more of her character. So we'll see what happens with that. And it was a good run. I enjoyed it, and it kind of sucks that it's not gonna be on anymore. I knew the sales were pretty bad because, Batwoman isn't a popular character as of yet. I know she has a fan base, but it's not really that big. So this character's not gonna really make a sales point. I mean, she got canceled pretty much twice already. So I don't know if we ever see her again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Who knows? I know so far we've seen her Detective Comics, and she's been going. Batwoman has been pretty much great in that run too. So I guess she only works as a teen character. Who knows? Okay, so I'm pretty much done with comic book news, and now I'm gonna be talking about Infinity War. I would actually give this movie maybe a 9.8 there, is somewhere around there. I really enjoyed this movie. It was great. The only flaw I think it did have was that it didn't necessarily fleshed out Thanos' story that much. I mean, you got the basis of what his goal was. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it pretty well. Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm going to talk about what they actually enjoyed in the movie. So I guess people could look forward to that. So beware of spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't even bother listening to this podcast. Okay, so here I go. I thought the way they've written Thanos was pretty well done. And I know people think that they changed Thanos, but they did change Thanos, but they didn't change the aspect of what was Thanos' particular goal in Infinity Gauntlet. I read Infinity Gauntlet just last week, and I noticed that Death's purpose was to sorry if I spoiled Infinity Gauntlet. her purpose was to balance the universe, to balance the population, because the population is affecting the universe. People are not living well under these overpopulated conditions. And she asked Thanos to do the job for her. And that's what it basically was. So the only difference in the movie was that they put that type of goal that Death had into Thanos. So it kind of worked. And I like that. The only thing is, and the great thing about this is they actually humanized Thanos, and it was great to see that, because Thanos does come off as one-dimensional sometimes in the comic books. And movies are once again great with humanizing characters. I disagree about Marvel villains being terrible in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I actually think that they have been great all the way through. Each character has a motivation, a purpose, and that's the way it should be. You don't have to necessarily agree with their actions. You shouldn't be having Stockholm syndrome with these characters. I know a lot of people do. For some odd reason, you're not supposed to sympathize with any villain. Because once you sympathize with them, they're no longer a villain. They're an anti-hero at that point. Like Dr. Doom and Magneto. And a whole bunch of other characters. But I digress with that. But yeah, it's pretty well done movie. I love the characterizations. Especially I like they did with Gamora. And it's pretty sad for her to see her sister get ripped apart. I mean, it was pretty bad. You could see that Thanos isn't all that there. He does have some craziness thoughts to himself. Yeah, he does care about the universe, the balance, but he does believe in kind of a selfish way, and you can totally see that in the movies. Another thing that I did pretty much like was, I wasn't sure about liking this, was the argument about Iron Man and Doctor Strange having conflicting arguments with each other. They look like they didn't get along. And for me, I've always seen them get along in the comic books, and maybe they got along in the comic books because it's been years. I haven't read, the first time that Doctor Strange and Iron Man first interacted with each other. But I see them get along. They're pretty much in Illuminati together. So they're like best friends in the comic books. So it's kind of a different perspective to see in the movies, and I did like that. I did like that there's just certain people you're not going to get along with at first, and you're probably going to get along with them eventually. It happens to me. There's some people that I don't get along at first. You have to fight a little just to get along sometimes. And some of those people actually become great friends. I think that's what's gonna happen with Doctor Strange and Iron Man eventually. But yeah, it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed this. This one problem I did sort of have was that Thanos was kind of overpowered. There was not that much of a balance in the fighting aspect of Infinity War, but it did have some great fighting scenes. It's just, I don't know, for some reason the characters were having a real tough time, and I think the only reason why I felt indifferent about the action was because I'm used to seeing these characters fighting in a different way, so they're much more skilled in the comic books, and I guess they don't show them to their true potential in the movie, but they do balance it in a way that the characters are struggling, and I really like that, and it works, I think. And I hate to break it to the people on the internet, but I disagree what everyone thinks about Star-Lord. I I think that he was just being human. Of course, he's gonna react a little irrational because his girlfriend died. Yeah, you might say that Gamora is probably not his girlfriend, but he actually loved her, and they did have a kiss for their first, maybe the first time in the Infinity War movie. So I don't know what people's problem is. That's how human beings act when their loved ones have died. They act a little irrational and they go blow up. Sometimes even people freeze. It's a normal human reaction. I don't see the problem with it. And Star-Lord has overreacted in the past. He overreacted when they came to fighting Ego. That's his character. And people try to have to understand that. I guess a lot of people have, problems misunderstanding characters. And that usually comes with comic books. Even in TV shows, people misunderstand the characters. But I think I have a better... Maybe I understand them better. I don't know if for some reason I seem to do. But yeah, it's another thing I did like in that movie was I did like about almost everything with that movie. It was really great, especially with Vision and Scarlet Witch. They had a really great chemistry romance. I did like chemistry between Rocket Raccoon, Thor, and Groot. They had a great relationship with each other. It was funny to see Thor constantly calling Rocket a rabbit. You could tell Thor is not really familiar with Earth animals. And Rocket has no clue what the hell is he talking about. It's just so funny seeing that, and it's great. I hope I didn't spoil myself by reading the Infinity Gauntlet book. I think I know what's gonna happen in the second part of Infinity War. I mean, it makes me remain hopeful for what's gonna happen. And yeah, the same things actually do happen. It's kind of almost word for word in the comic books. There is a part where the characters do get wiped out from reality. There is that part in the comic book too. So they almost went word for word. The only thing that's different is that they fight the Black Order and they fight Thanos in different locations. And I like that they did that because it gets a little bit balance of where the characters are. It's not a whole bunch of characters fighting one person. It's a little bit balanced. I like that. It was pretty great. Another thing was, I noticed a lot of people did not like that the Black Order didn't have a backstory, but I think that it was kind of implied. I'm not really sure, but I think Thanos probably saved the planets that they come from. Like, he balanced the population where they can live, and that made them believe in his cause, I think. And that's where they probably got it from. I'm not sure, but this is what I've been thinking. And that's what I feel like is implying that these people are just the Black Order's his followers. They didn't necessarily have a backstory in the comic books. And they were just a whole bunch of minions that Thanos... I mean, that worked for Thanos. That's all it was. So I kind of like that Thanos has this backstory, so it could kind of give a backstory to the Black Order if you think about it. If you come up with your own theory. So, yeah, that's my theory right there. And people shouldn't establish it as fact. I hope people don't do that, but, just say that it was that you think is implied when you tell other people, or say someone else thought of that. But yeah, that's what I think of it. But I really did like what they did with Black Order. It was really well done with those characters. They actually gave them personalities. That was great too. And this was a really fun movie. Seeing all these characters interact it felt like a real comic book. And yeah, it felt like you was just watching a comic book. It felt like Crisis on Earth X once again. And it was great seeing all these character interactions. I really loved it really well. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in Infinity War 2. I think that's what it basically is. I know it's not going to be called that, but it's a continuation of the first Infinity War, and they did leave off on a cliffhanger, so we'll get to see what happens with that. And I can't wait to see Captain Marvel. Carol's one of my favorite characters, and I just can't wait to see her in action. And I think it's gonna be great. And there's also one thing I did particularly like in Infinity War. I also liked that Red Skull was in there. It was pretty interesting to see him. I noticed it wasn't the same actor as the previous Red Skull. It wasn't Hugo Weaving. It was actually the guy from Walking Dead. He plays Aaron in Walking Dead, which is like one of the gay characters from Walking Dead. His name is Ross Minquan. I think he did a fantastic job as Red Skull, and I think he can actually replace Hugo Weaving. He did a great job. I think he was able to do just as great as Hugo Weaving. I mean, he just did a very phenomenal job, and I hope they use Red Skull again in the future. It's great to see this, and he kind of reminds me of the Unseen Nick Fury in the comic books. You know, I think he's supposed to represent death in it's kind of some different perspective kind of sort of way. Like he manipulates Thanos into killing Gamora. That was his purpose there, and I like that. It was pretty interesting. It was something different. It was a really cool aspect. I think that's pretty much covers it for the movie. I'm not going to talk about the book right now because it might actually spoil what happens in the second part. And I don't kind of want to do that. If those people, for the people who actually read Infinity Gauntlet, I think you know what I'm actually talking about. So you probably know what's going to go on. And you know, who knows, they might actually change certain things. So, who knows? And they actually borrowed some stuff from Infinity War. There's the actual comic book that's called Infinity War, and I get to read that. And I did get to read Infinity. That was another book by Jonathan Hickman. And it was a pretty good event. I really liked it, that one. It did show the Black Order, but like I said, they didn't have much of a backstory. But it was great to see the Avengers fight, the Black Order, and there was some great interactions with Captain America. He was really being a general, which was a different aspect of him. And he was really following, like, this is war, we have to kill people here. And I thought that was an interesting perspective coming from someone who is a soldier. And I think that's how Captain America should be. He doesn't always have to kill, but when it's time for war, he does have to kill. That's what I normally believe. And that's what they were in a war. That's an interesting story. I actually like that. So yeah, this is a good story. I really like the movie. I think this is to be one of the greatest Marvel movies of all time, and I'm hoping it will break box office records. So, it already is. I know that. I'm aware of. But I hope it beats all of them. But it's a great movie. They did really well. And that's all I have to say about it. I don't think I have anything else. By the way, if I eventually do get, maybe some co-hosts, maybe I'll do another Infinity War discussion with the co-hosts. Until then, that's my review for it. I just hope maybe next time when I have co-hosts, I can have more things to talk about, because I have no idea what else to talk about when it comes to Infinity War now. Okay, so let me just stop running off. Now I'm going to talk about the comic books I read this week. I'm up to the week I'm up to is April 25th. So yeah, I'm up to that week as of now. I'll try to catch up eventually, so hopefully I'll catch up this week and I'll guess we'll go from there. The books I'm gonna be talking about is Marvel books for right now, and then I'll go to DC and then I go to other. And the books I enjoyed this week, what the number one book I actually enjoyed was The Mighty Thor, number 706. Beware of spoilers. I'm gonna end up spoiling it this time around. And if you haven't read these books, just just pick them up, read them, and then listen to the podcast. I'm just gonna tell you the list of books before going spoiler territory. And it's not in any particular order. I don't usually like to do particular orders of what's the best. But the best for me was The Mighty Thor. That was number one for the whole week, even for it beat Marvel, DC. I mean, it beat all the other publishers for me. For Marvel, I'm gonna say The Mighty Thor, Moon Knight, Exiles, Old Man Hawkeye, Lockjaw, Spider-Gwen, and Dr. Aphra. Those are the top Marvel titles I've enjoyed this week. So now I'm going to talk about The Mighty Thor. I really enjoyed this issue because it was interesting seeing how Jane Foster interacting with Odin, and Odin was the guy he usually is, which is kind of a dick. He didn't understand where Jane Foster was coming from and why she was Thor. And Odin put his jealousy and his selfishness, which is what Odin usually is. He's kind of embracive with himself. He's kind of selfish sometimes, and he's very aggressive. And I like that after Jane Foster argued her point, he agreed with her, and it was really great seeing that. And I also did like Thor Odinson trying his best to revive Jane Foster. That was a great thing there because he actually used his God of Thunder powers without the Mjolnir. And that was great to see that because he finally realized that he doesn't need the Mjolnir to become Thor. He was actually using his thunder powers, which is just like the movies. He doesn't need a hammer to use his powers. He is the god of thunder. And I like that they did that. And it was great. I mean, the hammer was only a practice skill for Thor. He didn't really need it. And I like for him to have that. There's one thing I didn't like about this particular issue is because Jane Foster doesn't actually die, and that's kind of disappointing because I was expecting her to die, to have some consequence. I mean, like, yeah, Jane. It makes more of an impact if a character sacrifice herself for the betterment of humanity or Asgard at this point. It'll be a great way to just do it that way. It'll be more meaningful and more powerful. But they did the scapegoat route and actually, Odin and Thor revives her, and it's just that part was kind of a little disappointing. But I do still like the issue because there was great moments like the Thor trying to revive her, and the moments with Odin and Jane Foster growing up as characters. There's a little bit of character development there, and I did like that. So overall, it was a great issue. The art was great too. I did like a lot of great art moments there, and it was really fun. So the next book I'm gonna be talking about is Moon Knight, number 194. It was another great issue. I really enjoyed it. There was I wouldn't necessarily call it an origin story. I don't know why they actually called it that, but It was a story that was in Moon Knight's past, and he meets a certain person that he actually looked up to. It was one of his father's friends. It was a person who he thought was a Jew, but was only posing as a Jew, and was an actual Nazi. And I thought that was great. I hope to see actually if this this person that he met and looked up to, and he actually found the truth about who he actually is when Moon Knight was a child. There's a backstory. So I actually liked that story. So yeah, he finds out who he is, and I'm just hoping that you get to see more of him. Hopefully there will be some future interaction. Maybe that's why they explain the story. So yeah, and I did like I'm still liking Moon Knight, Mark Spector having interaction with his daughter, telling him what kind of person he is, even though she doesn't understand it completely. He did explain this backstory for her, which doesn't explain who he is as of yet. I don't know if if he does end up explaining it, they don't show it because that's kind of retelling his origin, and maybe the writer didn't want to do that. But it was really fun story to read. It was great. Another title I did like was Exiles 2. I know 3 just came out this week, but I haven't picked it up yet. And I haven't read it. So, I mean, of course I haven't read it. So yeah. Exiles was fun in this issue. It was a little jarring to read Valkyrie's dialogue, because she did kind of talk like old English. I mean, she's supposed to. She's an Asgard. But they did it a little too much, a little too exaggerated. But it was fine. I mean, once it got to the humor aspect, it was okay. And I did enjoy it a lot. It was a lot of fun interactions. And I'm starting to like Kamala Khan in this universe. She's a little bit different. She's a little aggressive and cranky. I mean, she's an old woman, but not all women act cranky. But yeah, I guess you know what I mean. But it was a great thing. I pretty much enjoyed it. And there is some revelations about Nick Fury, and I like that. It was a really well done issue. Next issue I'm going to be talking about is Old Man Hawkeye, number 4. It was pretty interesting. You get to see Hawkeye fight Beetle, and you get to see why he fights him, and it's pretty interesting. I actually liked it. They didn't explain the story in full detail, but I think we will get to that eventually once we get through the story. But the art has been really great. I think the artist has been doing a really great job. It's been pretty good. The action was really well done too. And I'm just trying to look at the artist's name. Okay, the artist is Marco Cicciotto. I really like his art. I've seen his art in Punisher by Greg Rucka, and that series is particularly great. But I really enjoy what's been going on here. I think Ethan Sachs is doing a great job. I do like the whole action with Craven's kids and Bullseye. That was really great there too. So yeah, it was really well done. I actually did like that particular issue. Now I'm going to talk about Lockjaw, number 3. I don't really like this series at this moment, but this issue was a good one. You see Lockjaw and D-Man. They go to Spider-Ham's universe, and they interact with a few characters there, and it's just funny how they interact with them. And there's you find out some backstory with Mooster Fantastic, which is really funny, and it really made me laugh. You get to see Lockjaw has a sister, and she's an Inhuman too, and it's just great seeing that. It was really fun. There's some very funny moments and interactions with the characters in the Spider-Ham universe. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It makes me think, maybe I should try the next issue too. Hopefully they actually improve. And maybe it was just a rough for the first 2 issues. That's about it. The next issue I'm going to be talking about is Spider-Gwen number 31. Yeah, I pretty much had fun with that series as well. It was Gwen Stacy from Earth 65 interacting with Gwen Stacy from 617. It was pretty interesting. I like that Gwen Stacy from the 617 universe. It's supposed to be Gwen Stacy from the 616 universe, but now that supposedly that Gwen Stacy went to that universe, it kind of shifted off into an alternate universe. That's how they got away with it. I thought that was pretty interesting, but I like that Gwen Stacy from that universe try to convince Gwen Stacy to be a better person, remain hopeful for what's gonna happen. She thinks that she's doomed. She's gonna have a terrible life because she's Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy's are just doomed to die, or her father is doomed to die because it's been happening in every single universe. The fact that it doesn't happen in 617, it makes her hopeful that maybe she won't fall into the same path as other Gwen Stacy's, and I like that. It was pretty good. It was interesting. I'm hoping to see what happens in the future with Gwen Stacy now that she's being hopeful about not things going a bad route. There's only one thing that gets a little plot hole-ish is that the Gwen Stacy is the 617 universe is the Gwen Stacy in the future who's interacting with the Watchers. It's kind of weird that this didn't happen before, but yet the character is there. So it gets a little confusing there. Maybe I'm not sure if I missed anything. I guess people could let me know about that. But that part wasn't really that clear for me. But it was still an enjoyable issue. I really liked that one. And the last Marvel issue, yeah. The next issue is Dr. Aphra number 19. I really liked that issue. It was pretty fun. I did like there was more interactions with Tonovan and Aphra having their romance. It was pretty great. I like the relationship that they're having, and it was pretty cool to, see 000 get tricked finally. He's a little crazy menacing. I like that. But it was great to see that Dr. Aphra, Tonovan actually tricked her. Tricked 000. And it was fun seeing that. Yeah, it was really great. And Aphra tricked everyone there too. She was able to hack the machine to give, false information to both the rebels and 000. So that was a great thing for it to happen. So yeah, it was a pretty fun book. And it ends the arc for this one and is opening another new arc in the next issue. So we'll see what happens. I didn't necessarily like these 2 particular issues, but I think they kind of worth talking about. Okay, it's Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 303. I thought this issue was okay. I didn't necessarily like it, and I think I'm gonna finally drop this series because it's not really doing good for me. I just wanted to find out one revelation, which I'm glad for, is for Teresa to be Peter Parker's actual sister. I really like that. I was kind of disappointed from James Robinson's original graphic novel Spider-Man, where he just said Kingpin was just mind tricking Teresa to be Peter Parker's sister. But I kind of like that Trisha Darksky made it canon because it kind of fits. Peter Parker's parents were secret agents and she's a secret agent, so it can work really well. And I like the relationship as established between Peter Parker and his now sister. I really like it. It's really well done, and I hope to see more adventures with them. And that's what I'm glad about finding out. Another good thing was J. Jonah Jameson's character development. That's another great thing about the book. But anything besides that, it's not that great. I didn't like that there was no really big consequence for what's going on with. I mean, there is a consequence, but they don't capitalize on it. I think it would have been a really big opportunity for maybe the younger Peter Parker or Aunt May to die because the older Peter Parker wasn't being responsible. He was being very irresponsible and not realizing what the dangers can become of someone messing up someone else's timeline. He didn't really. I think he did learn from it, but not as much as he would learn for if a tragedy actually happened. But I do find it a little bit interesting that the younger Peter Parker did give up Spider-Man, but you probably won't even see much of that anymore, which is kind of disappointing because I guess you like to see the continuation of that story because it's kind of sad, but you probably won't because it's from another universe. That's a disappointing factor from it too, and that's why I'm kind of dropping this too. There's some disappointing factors in it too, and it's been having disappointing factors for a while. I don't like how Peter Parker's written in this particular series at all. He seems kind of an idiot, and that's not, to me, that's not Peter Parker's style at all. Another issue I want to talk about I didn't like too much was the Hunt for Wolverine #1. It was okay. It just felt very plot hole-y. I'm not so sure. I mean, I had to look back and check. It's been a while since I read The Death of Wolverine. It's been years, so my memory's kind of iffy on that, but it felt very plot hole-y. The whole funeral with the X-Men kind of stuff, because they never spoke about that, and I noticed it's just weird that they randomly had that moment all of a sudden, and I'm definitely gonna have to look back on it and see what the flaw actually was. But I digress about it. But there was some good things about it. I did enjoy the action a little bit. It was a little bit fun, and I did like the funeral moments. There were some great talks with certain characters like Cyclops, and it was pretty neatly done. It wasn't too bad. The dialogue was pretty much standard. It wasn't too bad. I liked some of the dialogue. And I did like some of the dialogue with Kitty Pryde. She says some pretty good things, and it's pretty interesting to I guess it's pretty interesting to see how they find out that Wolverine is actually alive. And that's about it. I guess it's still worth checking out. I'm not so sure, but I think I'll still try it after a few times. It's also pretty nice that Kitty Pryde is looking out for Iron Man and Daredevil to help her out. It's a pretty interesting perspective, and I think it could work. I just want to see what keeps going on the next couple of issues. Now I'm gonna go to DC titles. The series I liked for DC were Doom Patrol, Detective Comics, Imaginary Friends. Fiends, not friends. Imaginary Fiends. Injustice 2. Mira, Queen of Atlantis. Raven, Daughter of the Darkness. The Flash. The Demon, Hell is Earth. Mother Panic, Gotham AD. Trinity, Wonder Woman. I didn't necessarily like the Terrifics that much, but it was still enjoyable, so I'm gonna mention that one too. I'm gonna first discuss Doom Patrol I'm gonna talk about Doom Patrol number 11, and it continues what the last story was about with Retcon. They give I forgot what his name was already. the retcon guy, the one that just shows copyright withhold, which is pretty funny. You get to see his backstory, and I liked seeing his backstory. It was a great motivation. I mean, he just was a person that was forgotten. He didn't like that he was forgotten, and he wanted to fight back, and the way he fought back was finding, some type of, I guess, some type of metal that could retcon things, which is pretty funny. And I thought that was interesting. You get to see a lot of interactions with the characters. Another good thing is that this story leads to Milk Wars when it ends. And I like that, how they explain that, because I was kind of wondering, when does the story take place? Does it take place before Milk Wars or after? And it shows that it actually comes out after, which I like that. It was pretty fun. I really want to look forward to what's going to happen in the next issue. I did like what's the magician kid that was there. Totally forgot his name too. Sorry for that. And I liked what they did with him, with his parents, and hopefully we get to see more of those characters. And they did show Rita Farr, but they didn't show her that much. So it was a pretty fun issue. I really liked it. Another issue I'm going to be talking about is Detective Comics 979. That was another fun issue. It was my favorite DC comic of the week. There was some great, I don't know, they really did the OMAC villain pretty well. Euselis is becoming a great villain for Tim Drake. He's like his own arch nemesis. More like, Batman versus Joker, and I like that. He's very cynical and very intelligent, just like Tim Drake, and it works for him. I really like how they did that. It's a pretty great thing. I also did like the action, even though the art is a little, I don't know, it struggles on certain panels, but it does a pretty good job. I mean, you can see what's going on, so it's still good to me, I think. I could see that they have the influence from Arrow. They're using a villain, because in Arrow, I'm not sure if it was the same exact character, but there's the same basis, where a character that has control over Brother Eye, and you can see that they had some influence from that. And I liked the way they did it here. They made the character even better than the Arrow version, and it's just great. I really did like the interactions with Batman and Kate Kane's father, and it was really fun issue. And I'm hoping to see more as the story goes and develops. It's been one of my favorite series as of right now from Rebirth. I've really been enjoying it. So yeah, the next issue I'm going to talk about is the final issue of Imaginary Fiends. That's another good one. Imaginary Fiends number 6. It was a mini series apparently. I didn't know that. But it does conclude the story up a bit. I mean, there is some little bit plot holes because you do see the Asian chick, the Asian woman, she has a imaginary fiend, which is like a monster, and it ends up dying, and then it comes back alive somehow with no explanation. And that's a little bit of a flaw in the book, but I did like how they were able to conclude it. At least that was I guess a good part of it. And this series was pretty much fun. I like how you get to see how a schizophrenic cop fights a schizophrenic criminal, and you get to see struggles with schizophrenia, and it's like she uses her disability as a skill here, and I like that. It was pretty interesting to see that happen in this series, and it completed very well, even though it had one little plot hole. But it was still fun. I think they only did the plot hole because maybe it wasn't supposed to be 6 issues and it became 6 issues. Who knows? But it was really well done, I think. And I guess people should probably look forward to picking this series up. The next issue I'm going to be talking about is Injustice number 2, which is chapter 55. And it was mainly about the Red Lanterns fighting Hal Jordan's Sinestro and Sinestro's daughter. The name can't come off my head for some reason, whatever. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing the interactions they had there. I mean, I really did like the little action that they had there. It was pretty fun. I really did enjoy it. They had some great interactions and great action. And, you get to see Hal Jordan as a Red Lantern, which I was dying to see because they did tease that aspect in the video game. And I like that, we get to finally see it here. So, I'm hoping to see more of Hal Jordan as a Red Lantern and see what he does with it in the next issue. So I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy this one. Okay, the next issue I liked was Mira, Queen of Atlantis number 3. I really did enjoy this issue more than the other ones I've been talking about lately. It's right up there with Detective Comics. There's some great interaction with Ocean Master and his family. He has a little argument with his wife, and Mira, helps out with that. She's able to reconcile, and the funny thing is that the wife is able to reconcile what's going on with Mira and Ocean Master too. So the great things that they were able all to work together. Another great character development moment in this particular issue. It was really great. Very well done. I really did like the action too. It was pretty much fun. You get to see a little bit of a flaw from Mira, She trusts her ex-boyfriend to help fight in this war, which is kind of ballsy. I didn't think she was actually going to do that. We'll see what happens. It'll probably cause more conflict as the next issue goes. I'm really looking forward to that. The next book I'm going to be talking about is Raven, Daughter of the Darkness, number 4. This is another series I'm starting to like. It's a limited series by Marv Wolfman, and I've been liking this series. I liked his previous one, and this one is actually becoming better than the previous one, but it's a great story. I really like what's going on here. You get to know more about Raven's mother and her family, why the family's a little bit separated, why there isn't much of an interaction with Raven's mother and her aunt. And I like that they actually explained that. It was pretty well done. It was a great, story. There is some great action in it as well. Good art too. It was a very well done book. And I think people should, look up into this. You get to know more about Raven and a bunch of other characters, You can get to learn where she comes from and how her story goes. It actually develops the character really well. I really enjoyed that series, and I'm looking forward to even more. The next issue is The Flash, number 45. I really enjoyed this series. It was pretty average. This issue was pretty average. There's some nice moments with Mina, Barry. They get to talk to each other and develop each other some more. They get to learn and grow from each other, which I did like that. That was really well done. You also get to see some revelations is gonna happen. Probably the next Teen Titans issue, Kid Flash and Robin. And you get to see some redemption with Godspeed, and I'm looking forward to that. I hope they develop that a little bit more. It was really well done. I really enjoyed it. And I want to see eventually see what they do with the backstory with Wally West, the older Wally West. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. It might be quoted like Superman's, when they merge the two Superman characters together into one person, and it just got a little messy. I didn't really like that. And I think I'm gonna jump into another headache in the next issue. They might end up combining the pre-52, the pre-new 52 flat Wally West with the new 52 Wally West. They might have some combined origin stories, make it all messy and confuse the hell out of you. So I'm gonna look forward to that in the next issue and see how it works. But I did like this particular issue. The next issue I'm gonna be talking about is the final issue of The Demon Hell is Earth number 6. This was a mini series too. I did like this issue too. It had a great way of ending the story. It was no plot holes. It was not messy. It was not rushed. It was just smooth right there, which is great because not a lot of miniseries get that. You didn't get that Imaginary Fiends, but you did get it in this series. The Demon Hauser did a great job on ending the story. It ended all the plots. It just did a great job. There was no plot holes either. It was really well done. And it was great seeing, Etrigan fight his father. It was just wonderful. I liked it. Great interactions, great action. It's just a really great story. You get to see the characters struggle. You get to see Jason Blood, Madame Xanadu, and they all help Etrigan out, which is a great thing. And Merlin too, they all do their part, and it's just great. It was a really good story, and this show was mostly action based, but I understand it because they're trying to finish the story here, and it was really well done. I hope we get to see more of this of these characters. I missed them from Demon Knights, and I'm hoping to see more of that in the future. Maybe this is just a potential future with them. And Andrew Constant did a great job on these characters, and I'm hoping that maybe he'll write the Demon Knights relaunch with these characters. It'll be a great for him to write that. He does a really good job of the characters. And I think people should look up Demon Knights and, look into that series. It was a pretty great series. And it only ran 23 issues, and it was really great. I enjoyed it. It was written by Paul Cornell. It was a really great series. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed this mini series. I think people, should pick this up. It was really fun. Another series is Mother Panic, Gotham AD. Yeah, it's Mother Panic, Gotham AD number 2. This was another fun issue. I really enjoyed this one too. You get to see some great moments with Mother Panic and Catwoman. It's great to see what happens to what has happened to Catwoman from the past to the future. And they did do some teases with Batman and Catwoman, that they're getting married and stuff. They did a little tease there. I'm not sure they actually spoiled what's gonna happen, but they brushed off on it, which was pretty interesting. And I did like the interaction with these two. They didn't get along at first, but they worked together and eventually got where they needed to be. And it was pretty interesting seeing that. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this series has been coming, better so far. I mean, the previous volume of this series wasn't that great, and it sucks as this series is getting canceled, because it was just picking up. This is where its strong point really is. This Gotham AD storyline is really great and interesting. The writing actually developed this time, and it worked out pretty well. I'm sad for it to go. The next series I'm going to talk about now is The Terrifics #3. I didn't necessarily like this issue that much. It was a little hurdle to get through the book. I mean, it's kind of the reason why I didn't like it too much was because Metamorpho was written like a total idiot. Oh my god, it was really bad with him and Sapphire. The interaction with them two wasn't really that great. The relationship needs work. It just doesn't work, and it's just kind of a little jarring in there because it just did not work. I mean, Sapphire is trying to make Metamorpho understand because she loves her father, but her father is a dick. I mean, she's not. It's kind of surprising that she's not seeing that when she actually saw that in the Legends of Tomorrow miniseries. She knew her father was really of an asshole. So this, I don't know. It seems like they just restarted that and not even care what happened in that book and just jump on from one here. It just restarted everything and just it wasn't that great, that particular part. But there was some great moments with Plastic Man. He was a humor, the comedy relief character in this book, and I did enjoy it a lot. I mean, yeah, it got a little cheesy, but it was funny. I did enjoy that. And he was trying, it looked like he was trying to, get the group comfortable with each other because they like fighting off of each other, and didn't like that. It was, But I think they had to get through that just to, get to making the characters comfortable with each other. Maybe Plastic Man is going to be the job to do that. This series, I think it's a little bit more work. Hopefully it'll get better as the issues go on. But I don't know. I hoping Jeff Lemire does a great job with these characters. I love his writing, but he's just not working here with these characters. I don't know what's going on. I think the reason why I'm talking about this particular series is because I think it could work if they just made the characters get along eventually, and I hope it does get to that point. It gets a little jarring to see characters not get along. But I'll see what happens. I do like what's going on with Plastic Man, and I'm hoping that he brings the light into this book. The next series I'll be talking about is Trinity #22, which is the final issue of this series. I'm pretty sad about that. I wish it could last a little bit longer. James Robinson came to this book really late. I'm kind of disappointed about that, because he was making his series good, and he only had 4 issues to write, and it was really well written. And sadly, the last issue had to rush a little bit, just because it was the last issue, and they had to climactic as much as they can, and that was kind of a little disappointing. But yeah, it was a really well done issue. I really liked it. I did like what they had with Demos. I don't know much about him, but I got to know more. I got to know about him in this particular issue. They had some backstory with the government, which was great. It was really well done. The action was a little, rushed off. You don't really know how they finished the battle. They just explain it briefly. You don't see it happen, that's why it kind of felt disappointing there. But it was able to finish the story that way, which is, I guess, is a good way of doing that. But the art is real beautiful. I really like the art here, and it's really great. It was really fun, and I wish James Robinson was able to write more issues of this series. It was really well done. I think if he had more time to write this, he would have had a more complete story, and it would have been, this series probably would have gone a little bit longer if he was writing since the beginning. But he wasn't writing since the beginning, and they put him in the issues right when the series was already canceled. It was like, you have 4 issues to write left. And that was kind of disappointing. And I think you could have made this series into a great run. But we're not going to see that. The next series I'm going to talk about is Wonder Woman, which is another series written by James Robinson, Wonder Woman number 45. I know the recent issue came out this week. I haven't caught up on it yet. I have to pick it up. But yeah, it was a really great issue. I really liked this one. This one's really up there with, Detective Comics and Mira and Raven. They were really great. It was really great. It's you get to see Jason interact with Hippolyta, his mother, or Hippolyta, whatever you want to pronounce it as. But it was really great to see them finally interact. And James Robinson does a great job in concluding the storyline. Is the end of the story arc, and he does explain how does Darkseid arrive at Justice League Odyssey. How is he, supposedly working with them. He explains it really well, and I like that because I was hoping to get the answer to that when I heard about, Justice League Odyssey, and he's gonna be working with the Justice League in that book, and I was like wondering, how can Darkseid be a good guy, and if he's a bad guy here, he's his normal self there. And they show that something happens to him. Wonder Woman gets all the gods out of him by showing love and compassion, which is great because that's what Wonder Woman is. And it's just great to see all the gods pull away from Darkseid, and Darkseid, resets himself. He becomes a different person. He has no idea who he is. He just ends up in another world. We don't even know where he's at this moment. I'm hoping to see what happens to him in Justice League Odyssey, and it's great how James Robinson did that. He did a perfect job with that. It was really great. I'm hoping to see more with Jason and Wonder Woman, and I like the whole interaction with Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman. It's all working out great. It's just, I really like what James Robinson is doing. He's becoming my favorite writer again. And it's just great. I'm really liking Wonder Woman again. I didn't like it when Greg Rucka was on. And I think James Robinson is a great replacement for Wonder Woman. He really knows her character well. He knows all the other characters well too. He writes really great stories with them. And now the other book I'm going to be talking about is Shadow Man number 2 from Valiant. This is the last issue I'm going to be talking about. I really did like this issue too. There was some great interactions with Shadow Man, his love interest. I forgot her name. But yeah, it's just, it was really well done. It's by Andy Diggle, and the art is by Steven Sogeva. I don't know how to pronounce that. It was really fun. I liked what was going on here. Jack Boniface juggling himself, and it worked really well. And there's some pretty dark things that happen. I guess there's a body transfer, or I don't know what's going on with the villain here. I guess they'll explain it more as the next issue goes on. But it was really well done. I like what's been going on. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I think this series is going to be a good Valiant series. There hasn't been that many good ones as of late. There was good ones when it first started, but now, I don't know, the quality of Valiant is going down. And I think this is one of the good ones. And I'm looking forward to the next issue. I think I'm actually going to like this one. And there is some great action there too, and great art. So I guess people can, actually pick up this series. I think I'm gonna be picking it up for the long run. It was really well done. So yeah, now I'm gonna be talking about my pull list. I'm going to talk about this briefly. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much details on what is coming up in this pool list because I really don't know. I'm kind of behind, so I can't really tell what's going to be the details of these pool lists. I mean, the books on this pool list. This is for May 16, 2008. I'm going to be picking up Superman Special number 1, Green Lanterns number 47, Aquaman number 36, Star Wars Poe Dameron number 27, Justice League No Justice number 2, The Avengers number 2, Batwoman number 15, The Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman number 4, Ben Reilly, The Scarlet Spider number 18, Moonshine number 10, The Punisher number 224, Cable number 157, The Mighty Thor Gates of Valhalla number 1, Kick-Ass number 4, New Challengers number 1, Hunt for Wolverine The Claws of the Killer number 1, X-Men The Wedding Special number 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe number 22, Weapon H number 3, You Are Deadpool number 3, Bloodshot Salvation number 9, Quicksilver No Surrender number 1, Deathbed number 4, Batman Sentence of the Father number 4, Ninja K number 7, Cave Carlson has an Interstellar Eye number 3, Future Quest Presents number 10, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, and I hope people could look forward to that. I mean, so this is a way, to see, hey, maybe I should probably look into his reviews since he's picking up these books. This is, what books to look forward to that I'm going to be reviewing for the next podcast. That's what I just see it as for this pool listing. So yeah, I'm pretty much done with this podcast, guys. So, I'm hoping to find new co-hosts. You can email me at ultimateawesomeness520@gmail.com. If you want to probably join the podcast, I'll give you my Discord, and we can talk, we can see if we can, do this kind of thing, and hopefully I'll find someone to talk about these Infinity War with, have more interaction and discussion about it. Yeah, I think this went pretty well. I think I could actually do this alone if I have to. It wasn't pretty much that bad. I actually enjoyed this. So I'm going to try to do this more often. So yeah, so every time there's a podcast when I can't have people on, that doesn't have people on, for some reason they're probably busy or just don't have anyone at the moment, I think I can do the podcast by myself. So yeah, like I said, hit me up and we'll see from there. So, I hope you guys enjoy the next podcast, and I see you guys later. All right, bye. Have fun. Enjoy the podcast.